Hi guys. I'm live with my pick a card. I know. I'm still trying to get like, they don't let you really see or preview like how this is going to be. Also, what I will say is it's almost kind of flipped and I don't really love that. But I will say this. It's going to be the bomb. This is your pick a card reading from Born Without Boundaries Astrology Motivation. Got my candles lit. I got it. It just feels real good to me, man. And hey guys, whoever's joining, I want to say hi. So thank you. I'm doing this live, absolutely. But pick a cards you can enjoy forever, ever. So just don't expect me to be responding or answering the comments because I can't really see them. But ultimately, this pick a card is in celebration of the full moon. And that's where the full moon is going to be in Aquarius. It's happening early Sunday morning because it's spending like very little time in Aquarius. It officially goes full in Aquarius, but then it kicks right into void, of course, because it's moving into Pisces really quickly. So in celebration of the full moon, it's not just for the energies of the Aquarius full moon. In celebration of really all full moons, this is titled, What Do You Need to Release? What do you need to release? Girl, boy, I am not talking about what you want to release. This is the shit that you actually need to release. So this is the shit that's probably very uncomfortable. But all I gotta say is, whatever. You know, it's like, this is what you need to release. So what I want you to do is just take a second and see what pile is really you're really connected with. This is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. And whatever pile, for whatever reason, your intuition, not your eyes, but your heart, your intuition, your soul is connecting to, you know, take some time, dude. Meditate on it for a second and really think about, what do I need? What is pulling me? Because your soul already knows what's in those cards. I don't know what's in the cards, but your soul already does. And ultimately, I want you to connect with the message that you need to hear, not what you want to hear. So what do I need to release? Take a second. I'm just going to give you some quiet so you can focus on connecting your soul to a message. Once you've selected your pile, take a deep breath. You ready? We're going to get into it. All right. What do you need to release? For those of you who started at pile 1, you were connected to pile 1. Let's go from there. And some of these messages can be combined too. So the first 2 cards come from this deck over here is the Wisdom of the Golden Path deck. Listen to your heart and intention. Motherfuckers, you are not listening to your soul. You need to release that shit. It's almost like all your intentions and all of your actions are acting against what you really, in other words, you're probably a real busy person, type A personality. You are all kinds of into what you've been assigned to, but ultimately, is it what your heart wants, right? The intentions, so that's what you need to release. All the stuff that, even if you're really successful, all the stuff that is really putting a burden on and smothering your heart, because what spirit wants you to get back to is listening to your heart and setting intentions based on your heart space. And that's where you're going to find your true bliss. That's where you're going to find your true happiness, is when you set intentions based on your heart, not your feelings, not your horniness, your heart, which is the call of God inside of you. That's what you need to get back to. Something is blocking that in 10 to 1. It's because you are setting intentions. So maybe obsessed with setting intentions, doing things that are whatever. Maybe they make sense, or maybe it's popular opinion. But let me say this, that's getting in the way of your heart. Now you have your solar plexus, things that, once again, coming from the gut. Maybe you need to release this sense of suppression inside yourself. That's why maybe your gut's been churning, or you've been getting a lot of aches and pains in your gut. It's stress, dude. It's stress because you keep burying shit, and it's probably burying your heart. You need to release this pressure and this weight that you are putting on your heart, saying that that's not right, and this is not what you should be listening to. And no, that's frivolous, or that's irresponsible. There is some churning and burning. It wants to come up to the point that maybe you want to throw up. You want to throw it up, or you've been having problems, like I said, intestinal or stomach issues, simply because there's too much shit that you're holding on to. This could also mean that there is stuff regarding your gut that you might actually need to release. So we could get into some dietary issues, changing your diet, release that shit, because even though it may make you happy, even though it may make you happy up front, it is not what's making you healthy. The waiting game. So this has been going on for quite some time. So this is the slow build group, right? The people who have, it's almost like this unhealthiness has been creeping up on you because you've been doing the same thing too long. It could very well mean release your fucking patterns, release your procedures, release the stuff that you've grown comfortable with, because ultimately it's like you need to change. Everything changes. Every 7 years, all our cells are replaced. You've heard that. So it's almost like this has been going on for quite some time, and maybe you're trying to hold on to the status quo of your life. Also, the waiting game is you have put something on hold. You put something on hold that matters a great deal to you and that you really want to pay attention to, but ultimately you're not. Spiritual strength, right? Are you using your spiritual strength in the right way? Like I don't think so. I think this is what needs to reemerge, is your spiritual strength. This understanding that you're not alone. When you are connected in faith, you can move mountains, even if it is a little bit at a time. But you are really not alone in this process. And maybe you have been taking too much weight on your shoulders. There's a lot of stress going on here. Like I said, almost type A personality. Lots of fucking stress in this group. So focused on earthly, tangible success, validation. And lots of times we wrap this up, we dress this up as, I'm being responsible though, right? I'm taking care of my family, right? And dude, no one wants you to stop that. No one's even asking you to stop that. But is it aligned with your true heart space? What are you doing it for? Are you doing it for the validation of, look how good of a citizen I am? Or are you doing it for what you really truly believe in morally? Have you even had that conversation with yourself lately? Honor the cycles. What did I say? It's time to let go of a cycle. You see the figure 8 here. You see the figure 8 there. You see the moons kind of reflected in that cycle. Listen, dude, it is 100% time to change your deal, to change your ways, to change your pattern, maybe change your career. It's becoming too much of a burden on you, and this is the release that you need. You need something different. You need to get out of the same old that you've basically stuck yourself in because it's become a comfort zone. What? I didn't say this, the cards did, yo. Freedom. That's what you need. That's what you need. That's very Aquarian energy, actually, because it's related to truth and who you truly are and wanting to become who you truly are. The reason why you've been feeling so smothered is because you're ready to be something else. And maybe the pressure wasn't there before because you needed to be what you were before. Honor that time in your life by letting it go. Let what you used to be go. The sound of the universe. Buzz, baby, you have been getting this from all sides lately. You have been feeling it and intuitively knowing it. This is what's been bothering you. This is what's, because you know there's change coming. This has what has been really getting to you and bothering you. The universe is clicking this into place. This is happening outside of you and you must respond. If you don't go along with it, a tower moment will happen. I'm not trying to threaten you. I'm just trying to say that's how deeply embedded this necessity is for you to develop and evolve. Harmonic light. Work with people, not against people. Release this need to constantly compete and instead focus on the love that happens when you connect with people. I am not saying that your true love is coming into your life. I'm saying you need to make room by making room in your heart, by showing that you don't need to be in control of everything. You don't need to feel like you're alone all the time. You don't need to boss people around. You don't need to always be in charge. No, you need to let people in and validate their worth by showing that you trust in them. And this connection is not going to only relieve your stress, because now it's like you have more time for yourself, but it's also going to make people feel more loved and appreciated around you. It'll help you nurture them. Instead of, listen, if you're smothering yourself, then you're definitely smothering people around you. Root chakra. Oh my God. Oh my God. Root chakra, dig in deep, man. Dig in deep. It's almost like saying get back to your roots, because this was always what you were meant to be. This is always what you were designed for. But, you know, as humans, we get stuck in these patterns, especially the comfortable ones. What I say, the gilded cages are the hardest to escape. So you're almost like, in some ways, you're blossoming to be more authentic, to be more real. You're releasing all the unreal. You're releasing all the pressure. You're releasing all the fake. You're releasing all the I have to's. You're releasing all the obligations to get back to, but what's my God sense? What do I, that's the only assignment you really have on this earth, is what your heart is speaking to you all the time. And then we have journey to wholeness. And that is ultimately what the angels want you to move to, is a center of holiness, blossoming, blooming. She is the tree herself, being fully alive and vibing. You know, when's the last time your tree grew flowers? This is like that beautiful piece that the universe says it's out there for you. It's calling you. Please allow yourself to do it. By releasing these intentions, by releasing this mindset, by releasing these patterns and behaviors that continue to duplicate what you've been doing for so freaking long. You can feel it smothering you. This is what you need to let go of. It absolutely could be a job, but it depends on just what you feel is smothering you, because it's not truly you. It's not truly yours anymore. For some of you, you could be put in a horrible situation of, it's your marriage, right? Ultimately, they don't always have to last forever, and they don't always last forever. And this truth is maybe shock you, but it's also something that you already know. So listen to your heart. Whatever needs to be released must be released. Let it go. At least start with this step, guys. Step 1, acceptance. Acceptance. Maybe you can't let it go overnight, right? But you have to accept that right now, day 1, you have to begin to cultivate an alternative and a way out, so that in a month, 2 months, you can get the fuck out, because you need to. You need to. Spirit's calling you to be what you were meant to be. All right? Group 2. Who's in group 2? Who felt connected to group number 2? Here we are, group 2. Oh, the golden path within. You need to release your fears. You need to release, that's what it is. You need to release your fears, because only your heart can make this decision for you, but you're scared as fuck. And the truth is, you guys are up against the unseen. You guys are up against these things that you can't predict, and you're scared because this is a path that could be dark. You know, it could be winding. You've never really been here before. But the truth is this, your heart knows the way, and your heart is the only thing that can make the decision for you. So what you need to release is fear. And fear is not an easy thing to release, because it always convinces us of really rotten things that we're supposed to believe. Like, no, you can't do that, or no, you aren't good enough for that, or no, they don't like you, or this is the only way things can be. Bitch, please. We live in a universe of infinite possibilities. Don't tell me that anything is the only way it can be. You need to take the next step, releasing your fears. And then we have wisdom. Oh. So you already know But your fears have kind of kept you in one place, maybe even kept you silent. Maybe in some ways you need to release this sense of, I'm not worthy, I'm not as good as other people, or all I can say, guys, is group 2, you already know the way. You already know what's true and what's real. There's no need to accept, like acceptance isn't necessary. You already know it, but you're scared of it. You know it, but you're scared of it. And maybe you're scared of consequences that will come from it. So fear is really what you guys are dealing with. Look at the bigger picture. Maybe that's what you need to let go of. Constantly looking at the bigger picture, you need to focus on the details. Instead of generalizing things or thinking about all this stuff all the time, you need to look at the opposite energy, which is Gemini energy, which is focus on the details. Focus is what it's saying is step by step, person by person. This is the way for you to be released from your fears, to deal with your fears, and to make it through, is don't keep always burdening yourself with this huge picture that you got in your mind, but you don't really know that that's going to happen. You need to look at the golden path within, step by step, taking your time, putting one foot in front of the other, knowing that you don't have to move fast, but you do have to move consistent, and you do have to keep moving. Looking at the bigger picture maybe has stunned you. It's not giving you enough, maybe it's pressuring you too much, or it's not giving you enough direction. You need something a lot closer to your face. You need something maybe a lot more tangible. And what is more tangible than your own feet? One step in front of the other. Now, it could also be a suggestion of maybe look at the bigger picture. And no, I'm not going to go down that route because I don't think it's for you. Balance spirituality and practicality. So there's some sort of release here that you need. It's almost like you're thinking too generally, guys. Like this is almost like you're getting all these fears in your life because you're looking too much at the big picture. And it's almost, it's almost like those overly spiritual people. And it's just like, calm the fuck down with it. Every once in a while, eat a potato chip. You know what I'm saying? Something you have gone to an extreme because all you can focus on is the generalizations, which is Sagittarius energy, the philosophies. But what about the practicalities? What about the pragmatism? What about the day to day? This is what you need to release because this is what's tripping you up. You're not focusing enough on your day to day. So what you need to release is these generalizations, these tendencies toward overgeneralizing and not looking enough at what's right there in front of you and what can I do what's right here in front of me. Because it's also scaring you. Everything seems so huge. Every situation you come upon relates to something global. Every situation you come upon isn't just going to impact you. It's going to impact your family. It's going to impact your community. It's like, whoa. You need to release that fear. You need to release that stress. You need to release that mindset of it's all so big. It's all connected to a bigger picture. It's really not, at least not yet. You have to take your footfalls in the right direction. And this bigger picture is hurting you. We have fertility here. It may even be impeding your fertility. But it's also saying plant something. Take those first steps toward like little intervals. This is very Virgo energy. Planting the seed, it doesn't grow over into the big thing at night. So really focus on the smaller things by releasing your need to only... It's like the opposite of that old expression, you're not seeing the forest for the trees, because some people look too much at what's just in front of them and they don't look at the big picture. For you, it's all about forest. That's all you're seeing right now. At least in one situation in your life, it's all connected to something so big that it's actually outside your grasp. You have to rediscover the importance of that tiny seed. That tiny little seed and the beauty of it and the abundance of it. Rediscover those impractical, what you consider impractical details. Throat chakra. Okay. Now, you need to release, this is definitely saying you need to release a statement. You need to say something. But maybe what you've been doing is you've been talking too much. You've been blaring too much. I don't know if it's on YouTube, comments, DMs, Facebook, having political arguments, whatever. Ultimately, you need to release your heart voice and not your head voice. This is a sense, this throat chakra, and you could have been experiencing vocal issues, throat issues, because you need to release this need to constantly say things before you know the fucking details of them. That's what you need to release. This pattern that makes you feel like your value is in the bigger perspective. It's really not. It's in the small details. It's in trusting. It's in loving. It's in connecting. Play. Ooh, I think that's what you need to start doing more, is having a good time and allowing yourself to enjoy the moment instead of overanalyze and make everything a philosophical conversation. Just be in the present moment. Join hands, connect with the people around you, one-on-one. And then we have master the dance. What does this say? This says that you have to, once again, dig into the details of something instead of just be like, oh, I love dance. The dance does this, dance does that. But have you taken a dance class? Have you ever mastered anything? If you're talking about politics, have you taken a poli-sci class? You know, it's almost like you're skipping over. You got to release that perspective of just talking generally. And you do this by committing yourself to just one thing that you're not going to be the jack of all trades anymore. You're going to be the master of one. Maybe that's another issue, really, that you're interested in so much that you're scattering yourself really thin, and you could get so much further if you would just decide on what's really important to you, what your heart is, and it's only a decision that your heart can make. And I'm not downing you. Believe me, this ain't judgmental. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be curious about things, but you're letting those curiosities overwhelm you and overwhelm everything about you and just become overwhelming and distracting. You're letting them distract you. What does your heart really love? What does your heart really love? Because a lot of times this is how we pander to fear. We escape into a new curiosity. Instead of being able to listen to our hearts, we're scared to listen to our hearts. Because if we mess up on what our heart tells us, then we're a real failure. And that's just not true. Because when you're connected to your heart and you are aligned with your heart, then even when you mess up, you're more motivated to get back there and get better. So you'll actually cure a lot of the stress and fear in your life by connecting to what your heart wants. That one thing that's most important to you, allow yourself to be brave enough to focus on and master it, and then be fluid, which is time to change, y'all. Time to change. And it's almost like maybe you've been too fluid, too accepting, too allowing. You know, it's like, this is beautiful, beautiful energy. And look at that. This is a beautiful card. Isn't that pretty? Oh, it's one of my favorites in this deck. It's so gorgeous. You know, but be flexible in terms of how you've been, but also in some sense, take a direction, choose a direction, communicate with spirit. I love this. I love this. Communicate with spirit. Now, you know I'm never going to tell you to not communicate with spirit. Group 2, this is the most important thing you could do. But have you become so much entrenched in banging your drums and rubbing your crystals that you're not talking to your kids, or you're not, you know, eating the foods that are right for your body, or you're not kind of like, it's almost like you've gotten too much of a good thing, and so it's becoming a bad thing, and it's taking you farther away from your heart space instead of closer to your heart space. So what you need to release is anything you've gotten to, is all of these distractions. It's all of these distractions. And when you really connect, the one way to really connect with spirit, you communicate with spirit through your heart. You got to reconnect with what's really important to you. And believe me, when you reassign your energy to focus on what that little thing that's really important to you, those details that you're missing, Spirit will be there more than any of the big stuff, any of the full moon parties or the big events that, it's not about that stuff. It's about the calm, truthful, sincere connection to the voice of Spirit that's inside of you. And so sit in silence for a second and don't have a fear of touching it and honoring it. And look at the smaller things in life and release all that need to always be involved in the big thing, because the big thing is just gobbling you up. All right, you ready, group 3? You ready, group 3? What do you need to release, group 3? Rose petals. Rose petals are all about gifts from God want to fall on you. I think you've given up hope. This release of, well, it will never happen to me. It's never going to happen. And ultimately what that's doing is self-fulfilling prophecy. It's not happening because you're telling it not to happen. This maybe this is, let's get into none of the cards, because this could be the energy of just expecting things to come to you or waiting too long for them. I am truth. Yeah, this is definitely the energy of somebody who is timid, of somebody who doesn't believe in themselves, of somebody whose self-doubt may have extended to the point where you've paralyzed yourself in fear and you kind of, I feel like this is this low self-worth, not trusting yourself, not believing in yourself, and in some ways thinking that nothing good will ever happen to me. And if you've been stuck in this mindset, ultimately, and I know this is not something anybody likes to hear, but you're manifesting more of that same thing, this mindset of nothing good ever happens to me, nothing good ever comes to me. Where is it, God? I'm waiting for my abundance. It's almost like you're in this challenge to the higher power. You better give me something. You better show me something, because I need this validation to feel good about who I am. And ultimately, it's your responsibility to find a way to feel good about who you are. So release this anger, release this release this depression, release this lack of hope, release this mostly anger that's built up by really not believing in yourself and always looking at every loss like it's somebody cutting you down, or looking at every failure as punishment. None of that is true. All of those things are lessons. All of those things are leading you to a better, healthier path for you. They're just trying to redirect you or make you stronger so that you're ready when your abundance comes in. And honestly, a little more faith in your own intrinsic value without the need for validation is going to sincerely bring in this abundance that wants to come into you. A fiery climax approaches, right? This is anger. How many times does anger explode out of you? Or do you repress that anger and it becomes depression? This is a sense of releasing that anger, releasing that sadness. You need to release that just, ugh. I can't say it any better way. It's releasing the anger, right? Oh God, this is sort of like, yeah, it's almost like in some ways maybe you've been defending yourself with your anger, because that's the only way that you feel strong. Release the need to explode or just be angry all the time, or mad all the time, or upset all the time, or be aggressive all the time. That's not really a demonstration of how much you believe in yourself, right? This confidence has to come from within. Look in the mirror. I think you've been doing it too much. You need to release the constant need to look at yourself and overanalyze yourself. You will know yourself better in 5 minutes of meditation than you will in 2 hours of doing your makeup or doing your hair or overanalyzing your pimples in the mirror. You need to look within. You need to release this constant, it's almost like this, what you need to release is this outward need for validation of who you are. All of that stuff is really just causing you, I could feel a great deal of anger, a great deal of aggression, because you have been suppressed or repressed by yourself. There's all this repressed energy in you that is exploding out in anger or depression. So this is a really intense feeling at this point, right? Looking in the mirror, you look in the mirror by looking into your soul. That's the part of you that you really need to get comfortable with and close with and connect with. Honor the lineage. Now, maybe all of this pressure is coming from family pressure, and that's what you need to release too. Like releasing this need to do what your family did, to do what your family has been doing, to take over the family business, to live up to family expectations. In order to fit in, you've had to not be you. So that's maybe where all this anger is coming from. You honor the family lineage best by making the most out of the DNA that they gave you. Even if you're different and even if they reject you, you are actually doing more for them by being all of you than you could ever do being what they expect from you. Listen to that again. I can't repeat it because I'm channeling it. It won't come out again. But that's really something that you need to focus on. You are really doing more for them by being all of you. By being all of you, you are moving that line forward. Even if they say to you that they're disappointed, they disown you, listen. Listen. Honor yourself. Honor yourself. This anger is building up inside of you and it's eating you apart. That's what you need to release. Choreograph. Create, guys. Create and be who you really are. Almost a sense of this has become too internal. It's almost like you're internally manipulating or manipulating other people when what you really should be doing is manipulating your exterior environment by creating. Creation is the best. It's not even manipulation. It's adding. Really get in there and start to plan out your life, to start to make decisions based on this creative energy that wants to come out of you and be recognized and realized. You're being called to allow it to be realized. Ah, the violet flame. You got something deep inside of you. You got a wisdom and you got a knowing about you. You got this intuitive connection. You see things maybe before they happen. Maybe you have insights to things that nobody else does. Please honor that. Please trust in that. You are illuminated with this great gift from God to see what other people don't see. So ultimately, you need to honor that. It's almost like you don't want to honor that. It's like you need to release who you really are, because you are actually a very spiritual soul, and all this anger is being pent up inside of you because you just won't honor that. Foundation and achievements. Yep, hello. You need to release maybe your family. I know that sounds horrible, but you need to release whatever you have settled on or settled for or been born into. You might have to release the need for any kind of prosperity or abundance that you have gained by holding on to what was easy or dictated for you. Material and spiritual prosperity. Look at that. This is sort of where you want to get to, group 3. You want to get to a point where you are spiritually aligned, and through that spiritual alignment is how you are getting the material gains. It's different than just prosperity begins really in your home, your actual home, in your heart space. And or maybe you need to get closer to your family. I just feel so much anger here. So what you need to release first of all is this anger. And whether you release it on a punching bag, don't release it on people. A punching bag, exercise, screaming and yelling, releasing it into a creative project. Use this anger as energy to fuel that creativity that wants to pour out of you. And enough with being angry with the world for not being good to you or not understanding you. Enough of that. Who cares? You need to get on your own side. That's what's really making that hollow place inside of you. That's what's really causing the hurt. This need for them to validate you so you feel validated. Listen, you know you're different. Honor those differences. You know you see the world in a different way. Honor that different way. And even though it may take, and you'll start to see that rejection from other people will not be nearly as bad when you honor and accept yourself, and the anger will dissipate, and the energy will go up, and the creativity will start flowing out. This is really the rebalance that Spirit wants you to get back to. Spirit is calling you back to the goodness and the health and the love of yourself. And this anger is getting in the way. So please release it by deciding to honor who you are instead of looking for validation from others. So this is it, guys. Thank you so much for joining me for this beautiful card reading. This was actually a hell of a lot deeper than I thought. I just love the pick a cards. You can join me probably next new moon. I'm gonna do another pick a card. If you're looking for more content, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. Ring that bell so you hit all notifications so you know when I upload. I upload daily tarot. The weekly astrology forecast is going to be coming up on Sunday at 2 o'clock right here on Astrology Motivation. If you want to join me live, I go live around 9 o'clock on Astrology Motivation for your astrology motivation for the week on Monday. 9 o'clock on Mondays, that's 9 o'clock at Los Angeles time. And your weekly zodiac readings, those energies that align directly to the zodiac signs, I release on Born Without Boundaries Tarot and Born Without Boundaries Vimeo. Those readings always come out every single week, 12 pieces of content a week, and they're all for you, sun, moon, rising signs over there. So please go check out and subscribe to Born Without Boundaries as well. I love you guys. If you're looking for like live interactions with me, that's Monday morning on Astrology Motivation for the Astrology Motivation Live. And that's Monday through Friday on my Instagram feed, born_without_boundaries, for a daily tarot card reading, which I also upload here after the fact. I love you guys. I hope you have a bang up of a weekend. I hope you love your weekend. I hope great things happen. And I hope this full moon gives you a chance to release all that fucking stress you've been feeling so you can start new and start true. Have a great weekend, guys. Bye.